welcome to your Verbal Ability Class Assignment 3. Now in today's class, we will be solving the exercises that are particularly related to sentence correction and para-jumbles. Now today's particular session is extremely important from your exam point of view because we are going to discuss certain tips and tricks, and apart from that, I will be sharing certain very important grammar rules, so make sure that you note all those down. So the first exercise is on sentence correction. Choose the option that is incorrect. Now make sure that you do not choose the option that is correct because they want us to mark down the option that has wrong answers or wrong statements in it. Look at the first one. It is a perfect plan to execute. Now there is no error in this. It is absolutely correct, which means that your option D that states A and C as the possible answer is wrong because our statement A is correct. So this is how we work side by eliminating our options. Second, Jane looks good. Now again, this is absolutely correct, which means that your option B and your option C also fail. Look at the third one. A conical old Ming vase was on the table. Now Ming was a dynasty that existed in China. Now there is a little error in this statement. So basically, whenever you are describing one particular person or thing using various adjectives, you list those adjectives down in a particular set and defined order. And in case you do not follow that order, then it goes wrong grammatically. So I'll let you know exact order just now. Make sure you note it down. So you start by describing the opinion, that is, if something is beautiful, pretty, ugly. Or say, next is size, like big, small, tiny, anything. Then comes age, so it could be old, new, or recent. Then comes the shape, like round, oval, square, rectangular, anything. Then you define the color, black, blue, pink, white, yellow. Then you describe the origin, which is Indian or German or Chinese or anything else. Then you describe the material, wooden, leather, etc. After that, you define the purpose, whether it is for a wedding, for dining, for sleeping. So I'm repeating the order: opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. So this particular option is definitely wrong. It is terribly hot during the day. Now this is also absolutely correct. Next one, the cat smells badly. Now this again has an error. So badly is an adverb, whereas you have to use an adjective. So you should say the cat smells bad instead of saying the cat smells badly. Therefore, our answer is option A, that is C and E. Moving ahead. Question 2. The first statement is the CEO spoke out surely. Now this is correct, which means our option A is cancelled. Next, she plays hockey good. Now there is an error in this statement because good is an adjective. And over here, if an adjective has to come, it should be there before a noun or a pronoun. So over here, you are describing how she plays hockey, basically her manner of playing hockey. So the correct statement should be she plays hockey well, because well is an adverb whereas good is an adjective. Next, Jack entered the bar deadly drunk. Now, whenever you have to show a transition or a movement from outside to inside, you use a preposition, and that preposition is into. So the correct statement over here should be Jack entered into the bar deadly drunk. Hence, our B and C both are incorrect, which means that either our answer should be option B or option C. Look at the next one. A snake slithered past our tent. Now this is again correct. Please make sure that your assignments have OUR instead of OUT. Next, John always spoke to her kindly. This is again correct, which means that our answer is option C, B and C. Third one, they signed the bath in blood. Okay. Now this is correct reason. Whenever you are writing with a material thing, okay, let's say if you're talking about they signed the oath with a pen, then that would be correct. But if you're talking about ink, then you say they signed the oath in ink. So basically something that is inside that object, that is why in blood, in ink. So this is absolutely correct. Now look at the next statement. Read it carefully. His writings offer a radical point of view on the origin of ancient cultural rituals and traditions play prime roles. Now your subject is writings, basically whatever a guy has written. And why I'm saying guy? Because the pronoun used is his. So someone has written something which is basically our subject. So your entire statement should revolve about the information that is given about this person's writings, whatever he writes. Okay. So his writings give you a view on what? On two things. First, ancient cultural rituals, and second, traditions. Now, if you read the entire statement, it looks extremely abrupt because it seems what exactly is plays prime roles, right? Your traditions are playing prime roles, but you need to connect this entire phrase with the subject. So what do you do to correct it? You say his writings offer a radical point of view on the origin of ancient cultural rituals and traditions that play prime roles. Now, the moment I say traditions that play prime roles, I have reconnected this part of the sentence to my main subject, which is his writings. Which means my option B was incorrect. Next, the criminal must go on trial for what he has done. Again, there is no error there. This is absolutely correct. I got the job because I had the necessary experience. Now this is again correct. Let us see the next one. He was educated at a local high school. Now this is also right. There is no error in this, which means our option is E, which is B only. Let us move forward. Fourth, and the first statement says, he was a fiction writer who liked to dabble in mythology. Now there is no particular error in this, so this is correct. It is often difficult to speak with foreigners in their mother tongue. So this is also right. There is no error in this. Now, if you have a doubt why we speak to and why we say speak with, I'll just explain. Listen to it carefully. So whenever you are saying you are speaking with a person, that means both the people are talking and both are listening to each other. But when you speak to a person, so you are the only person who is talking and the other one is only listening. So it's more or less like a monologue in that case. So this is correct. There is no error in this. Third, it made me angry to have to listen to such lies. Now again, the moment you say this, sounds very abrupt. Because in the beginning you are saying it made me. That means you are using past tense. And suddenly you have switched to present tense. That is incorrect. Therefore, you should have said It made me angry to have listened to such lies. Next, the antidote must be administered 2 times in a day. Now, this is absolutely correct. There is no error in this. Let us move to the next part. I was angered by their constant interruptions. Now, there is an error in this particular statement. Why? You're never angered by something. You're either angered at or angered with. Now, whenever you say you're angry with dash, you're always talking about a particular person. So, you're angry with your mom, you're angry with your teacher, you're angry with your friend. But if you say that you're angry dash someone's action, which is more or less like a non-living thing, then you say angry at. So over here, the correct statement should be I was angered at their constant interruptions. Which means our option is B and C and E. Both statements are incorrect. Look at the next one. The busiest air route from the airport in terms of passengers is Mumbai Airport. Now, there is no particular error. Let us move ahead. The economy is based on tourism, food industry, agriculture, and on trading and harbor activities. Now, when you speak this, there is a little error that is of parallelism. So, I should have said the economy is based on tourism, food industry, agriculture, and on trade and harbor activities. Why? Because I can't use one particular word in ing out of nowhere. You need to follow one particular structure while writing one sentence. So B is clearly incorrect. Next, it is the more colorful. Clearly, it is the most colorful should have been the answer. The moment you say, you realize. So it is the more colorful and wealthy district of the city. It's wrong. It should be. It is the most colorful and wealthy district of the city, threaded by narrow lanes, and its economy centers around the tourist industry. So B and C both are incorrect. Let us see the D one. It is the capital of the new democratic country, and historically it was an important city as it was here that the treaty was signed. So this is again correct. There is no particular error. Less than 2 minutes had elapsed since departing the dock. So this is also correct. Therefore, our answer is the option C, and B and C both statements are incorrect. Let us look at sixth part. First, I am probably the world's worst cook. There's nothing wrong in it. It is correct. So basically your option A, gets eliminated automatically. Next, I am fine when it comes to appreciating this cuisines. Now there's an error. This is used when you're talking about something which is singular, one. And cuisines is obviously a plural word. So you cannot use one pronoun that is singular for a plural word. Therefore, you should say, I am fine when it comes to appreciating these cuisines of great chefs, but left to myself, I couldn't even fry an egg. So B is definitely wrong. Look at the third one. It is not that I don't know how to do all this. Now, this is also right. There is no error. I can tell you how a kakori kebab is made, how the flavor of a kokyo oven is directly related to the wine you should use. So only B is incorrect, therefore option B, B only. Look at the next one. I just read in a news magazine that TV comprise, 67% of the Indian entertainment industry. Now this is clear cut and incorrect statement. Reason? Start reading from the word TV. TV comprise. Now TV is a singular object, right? Therefore you should use a verb that is singular. So you should say I just read in a news magazine that TV comprises 67% of the Indian entertainment industry. You do not use the word of after comprise. Make note of that. So A is definitely wrong. Let us look at the next one. Films and other things comprise the other 23%. Now this is also correct. Look at the third one. Finally, television is at par with film industry. Now this is again extremely incorrect. It's very wrong. Reason: how can you compare one thing with an entire industry? The comparison is not correct. So either you say finally television industry is at par with film industry. You can compare television industry with the another industry, but you can't compare one TV with film industry. The comparison should be of two things which can have some value standing against each other. Next, a TV actor is a bona fide star now, and TV is not a poor cousin of Bollywood anymore. So this is also correct. Therefore, our option A is incorrect. Option A is the answer. That is A and C. Both statements are wrong. Look at the next one. A print design project communicates a message. It is correct. Look at the next one. Contrast is a good way to create a noticeable design and layout. Now, there is something odd about this statement. Try and think. So, contrast over here is used as a noun. So, it doesn't make sense, right? So, you should say contrasting is a good way to create a noticeable design and layout. So, imagine if I say run is a good exercise. It doesn't make sense. So, the correct statement would be running is a good exercise. So, it's very similar to that. Contrasting is a good way to create a noticeable design and layout. So, statement B is wrong. Look at the next one. Contrast can be size, color, discretion, format, or the expected versus the unexpected. This is correct. Size contrast can involve graphics or type. Now this is also right, which means our answer is option A, which means only and only statement B is wrong. Look at the next. Okay, now para jumbles. So before we begin this particular exercise, I would like to give you certain tips. So whenever you're trying to attempt the questions of parajumbles, you should always look for sentence that introduces either a person or a place or a committee or any concept in that particular small little paragraph that is given to you. All right. So once you have done that, you should try to spot what exactly is the central theme of that parajumble. Then there is a possibility that a process is defined through those sentences. So you should try to find if there is any activity that is happening. So you should follow the activities. Then probably try to find words that are connectives. For example, words like although, through, if, until, since, etc. But that is also one of the connectives. So you should try to find if there's any connective, and the next statement would help you to automatically link the two statements together. Also look out for various pronouns like he, she, they. Now these pronouns will obviously be used when a person or some particular thing has already been described. So you know that this would come probably on the second or third line, but the first should be the basic description of a person. Now since I've given you these tips, I would really request you to try and attempt the questions of the para jumbles, and once you have done that, then probably we will try to solve it together. So you can just pause the video, attempt, and then come back. So choose the most logical order of sentences. I hope that you have tried and attempted the sentences. I'm starting with the discussion. So knowledge, even when it is exact, because we tend to forget what we know, If we do not pay attention, forget how to process it properly, does not often lead to appropriate actions, even when we are experts. So the correct answer is part A. So basically, your statements go like knowledge, even when it is exact, does not often lead to appropriate actions because we tend to forget what we know. Then comes the fourth one, forget how to process it properly. Then comes the third one, if we do not pay attention. And finally, even when we are experts. So the second, in the classroom, once they are let out on streets, statisticians, it has been shown, and engage in most trivial inferential errors, tend to leave their brains. So the correct answer is option A, that is third, fifth, first, fourth, and second. So basically, you should say that statisticians, it has been shown, tend to leave their brains in the classroom and engage in most trivial inferential errors once they are let out on streets. Look at the next statement. Sure enough failed. I have tested myself and, by carefully setting a wide range, even while consciously trying to be humble, as we will see the core of my professional activities, and yet such underestimation happens to be. So let us look at the answer. So it's option D, which is second, first, fourth, third, sixth, and fifth. I have tested myself and, sure enough, failed, even while consciously trying to be humble, by carefully setting a wide range, and yet such underestimation happens to be, as we will see, the core of my professional activities. So the best way to approach such questions is, look at option A. Read the entire paragraph in the order that is given the first option. If you don't feel that is right, then go for the second, then the third, and eventually the fourth or fifth option. So you work by eliminating. Fourth, except that people got all excited, so I would not have cared and talked quite a bit about the least about them. Pouring verbal sauce around the forecasts, what these figures were going to mean. Okay, so I believe in your statement, the first word of the sixth statement is written as at these figures. However, it should be what these figures. So let us look at the answer. So it is second, fourth, third, sixth, and fifth. Let us read it. So I would not have cared the least about them and talked quite a bit about what these figures were going to mean, pouring verbal sauce around the forecasts. Alright, so this is done. Let us choose the most logical order of the sentences. This is the last few questions. Have you ever gone through a book that was so good you kept hugging yourself mentally as you read? Now notice the examples I have used. Have you ever seen a play or motion picture that was so charming that you felt sheer delight as you watched? I have not spoken of books that grip you emotionally, of plays and movies that keep you on the edge of your seat in surprise, or of food that satisfies a ravenous hunger. Or perhaps you have had a portion of pumpkin pie, light and airy and mildly flavored, and with a flaky, delicious crust that was the last word in gustatory enjoyment. So the answer is option D, ACEBD. Now look. So the first statement should be A, right? Have you ever gone through a book that was so good you kept hugging yourself mentally as you read? Have you ever seen a play or motion picture that was so charming that you felt sheer delight as you watched? So he's asking you two questions and then he's saying, or perhaps you have had a portion of pumpkin pie, light and airy and mildly flavored, and the flaky, delicious crust that was the last word in gustatory enjoyment. Now he has listed three statements. So after that, what is he saying? Now notice the examples I have used. So what does happen? What happens? He has listed certain statements, then he's saying these are the examples that I am quoting. And finally, I have not spoken of books that grip you emotionally, of plays and movies that keep you on the edge of your seat in surprise, or of food that satisfies a ravenous hunger. Moving forward. So second, so the answer for the second one is C option, that is DBCA. Let me read and you will understand. The board is busy signing up players for its new cricket league as if there is no tomorrow. And that seems to be the strategy for success for the BCI, especially with cricket lovers moving towards the faster version of the game. Already, the board has signed up 30 international cricketers and has already invited for the game. And eventually, the last option, that is A, the rapid pace of developments is probably a strong answer to the National Cricket League challenging its supremacy over cricket in the country. Look at the third one. He believed that honesty is the best policy. He would otherwise be forced to resign from his position, which he could not afford. However, the situation demanded that he bend the rules according to the wish of his boss. He was facing a great dilemma and could not decide what should be done. Let us look at the answer. So it should be A, C, B, D. He believed that honesty is the best policy. However, the situation demanded that he bend the rules according to the wish of his boss. He would otherwise be forced to resign from his position, which he could not afford. And eventually, the last D option, that is, he was facing a great dilemma and could not decide what should be done. You can't miss a huge blue sign displayed near the exit. Beware, it announces in bold red lettering as you start thinking where you have reached. As soon as you land at the new Mumbai airport and enter the terminal, you feel like you can get lost in the crowd. Do not pick your baggage unattended. Watch out for pickpockets, says the fine print. You stop and read to find out more. So let us look at the answer. So it's option E, CABED. As soon as you land at the new Mumbai airport and enter the terminal, you feel like you can get lost in the crowd. You can't miss a huge blue sign displayed near the exit. Beware, it announces in bold red lettering as you start thinking where you have reached. You stop and read to find out more. Do not leave your baggage unattended. Watch out for pickpockets, says the fine print. So I hope this is clear. So the vocabulary would be covered in another video, and you also have one comprehension passage, that is of assignment 3. Now assignment 4 is particularly dedicated to the various tones and styles of RCs. So when we discuss that in one particular video for the assignment 4, I'll be discussing the answers and the tricks and tips obviously of assignment 3A, that is reading comprehension as well. Thank you so much. In case you have any doubts, please connect with us.